April and my channel is Flowers with the Foss Family, but I'm going to do a little crocheting. On my Instagram you can see I just finished a pair of slippers. I am in my little corner. This is my chair. It's set up next to my fireplace. Let's see if I can give you a little shot here. My fireplace right there, and then from where I'm sitting I can see out a window into the driveway and a little bit of the garden, and then over here I can see part of the garden too. And so it's just a nice place to sit. Slipper. Oh, I put them away. I'll put a little picture in here of what they look like. And the person, I have my iPad right here so I can look at the pattern. Let me see if her name is on here. I'll have to share it with you guys later. So right now I'll put a link or her name or a picture of where this pattern is from. I also made a little sweater. Now it was a big sweater and it was a huge undertaking that I made for my daughter Carmen for her 23rd birthday in July, and I didn't finish it until like a month after her birthday. So, oops, sorry Carmen. Anyways, I'm making the sole of my slipper with this super like dark yarn, and then this is going to be the actual slipper color. I love it. This blue will be the pom-pom, and then the hearts in it too, and so this will also be the hearts in there. But so this is the color of the sole. So a little story is my mom has been crocheting for, I don't know, Mom, how long have you been crocheting? For a long time. and I know how because my stepmom taught me when I was little, maybe like Charlotte's age in elementary school. I don't know, about 10 maybe. So I knew how, but you know, I was 10 or however old I was. Before Christmas last year, my mom taught me how to crochet, and she probably was like, oh my gosh, because I was having a hard time like remembering if the yarn goes in front or the back. But I will say that I think I picked it up pretty quickly. And I learned, the first thing I made was a blanket, and I'm gonna turn the camera around, or I'll turn the camera around, show you what that was. Okay, so you can see the blanket right there. That is the first blanket I made. Remember, I looked at the pattern and it was like, it felt like it was in a different language. I didn't know what I was doing. I had never ever went off a pattern before. When I made my own sewing things, I made my own pattern, but so I've never even have read a pattern before, let alone a crochet pattern that had abbreviations and all the things, and I felt like I was reading something in a different language. And so I texted my mom, I'm like, I don't get any of this. And her advice was take one step at a time. And so that's what I did, one step at a time, and I learned how to do it. And it turned out super cute, and no one has used it yet because it was my first thing I made and I don't want anyone to ruin it. So it sits there on my ladder and no one uses it. I'm sure I'll get over it, but that was the first thing I made, and I think I finished that either in January or February. I can't remember. So I learned like right before Christmas, and I made a bunch of wash rags and things for Christmas for my older daughters, and then I made that blanket. Because the patterns for the wash rags I watched on YouTube, so it was like a tutorial, a video, and that's how I learned so much better. And so that was easy. Learning how to make that blanket was a challenge. So since then I've made several, and if I have pictures I'll put them up in here. I've made several blankets, and I've made several purses, and I'll share those too. Some zipper pouches. A bunch of zipper pouches. I made a sweater, like I said, for my daughter Carmen, and I made a few pillows, and I think so far the pillows are my favorite thing. They're so cute. And I found out that I really like making granny squares. Like, I like that they're a small little, I have some right here. They're just a small little thing you start and finish, and they take no time at all. But then to like put them all together, yeah, it takes time. But I like doing this, and I like that you can have a bunch of different colors, you know, and you can make them tiny. See how tight it's curling. It's so tight. But I don't know. I think I like to crochet tightly. So you're supposed to do this part of the sole until it reaches a certain length, and then you continue on with the rest of the sole, making it a little bit smaller or bigger. I can't remember now. I can't remember. But so when I started crocheting, when I learned, that was why I wanted to learn, because I wanted to make a few little Christmas gifts. And so then after the new year, I just like took off and like made that blanket first, and I kept it because I love it. And I think I then made, I think the second one I made was another one that I wanted to keep because it was a totally different design and it was just really cute. I can't remember, I can't keep it all in sequence, but and at that time, in what, February, March, we weren't starting any of our plants yet, our seedlings yet, so I was like needing to keep me busy, and that was a really great way to keep me busy, was crocheting. And so I had like 3 projects going at one time, and so I finished, you know, Afghan as a Christmas gift, and then I made 2 more Afghans as Christmas gifts. So that was fun. And then I started doing smaller things, like I made my first purse that I used, I think that was in March. Yeah, so I made that and I loved it, and everyone loved it, and it was so cute. And then I started making zipper pouches, and I actually sold a few of those, so that was fun. I couldn't, like, I don't know, I sold them for way cheaper than probably what they were worth, because it, you know, it takes a long time. You have to make them, and then sewing the zippers in was like a lot of work doing those zippers. And they were all lined with fabric, so that took up time. And I don't know, I made a couple different sizes, and so I have one and I use it in my crocheted purse with my crocheted pouch. And then I made a few other purses, and then one of the purses I made was for my daughter Ava, who turned 20 in May, and that was her birthday present, with a few zipper pouches, colors that she picked out. And so now that I know how to crochet, everybody like has a request. So it's like, yes, I love it, but I also have, you know, a lot going on. I have, you know, 7 kids. I was doing embroidery for a really long time. And I'll share a couple little things what I was doing. I'll put them up in the corner there. So anyways, I've done lots of hobbies. So I know I say so a lot, sorry. But I forgot what I was saying. It's that time of day where I'm like starting to fizzle out. Like right before my husband gets home, I start fizzling out. There's no kids here, so usually it's like really fizzling out, and then I'll like probably go start supper usually at this time, but it's only him. And so like, well, what are we gonna eat? Because I don't feel like making a dinner when the kids aren't here. And so I had a few choices for him. We'll see what he picks. I don't know if I've shared this before on here, but you can see it in my bio or my intro or whatever it's called. My husband and I met, that you'll see, you saw on the last video I posted, and he'll be on a, I told him, I'm like, you have to be involved in this, sorry. So anyway, okay, had to move. I felt like I was like talking like this to you guys. That doesn't feel natural. This is more natural feeling. So my husband and I, we've been married for 25 years, and we've been together for 26 years. I was 19 when we got married, and then, you know, I turned 20 like right after that, and then a few months later I had our first baby, Karina, who is 25 now, and she has 2 of her own little kids. And so sometimes it's hard to believe that I have a 25-year-old, but not really anymore. It doesn't, I feel like, because I'm 45 now, and that's a hard pill to swallow many days, and I try not to really get hooked up on it, because, you know, 45 is not old nowadays, but some days I do feel old. Anyway, and so then I had 5 kids before I turned 30. So we were married for 10 years, I had our number 5, Jonathan, or our son Jonathan, our 5th kid, the day before our 10-year anniversary. So I was in the hospital. And so I get to say that, and then I turned 30 like a couple weeks later. So I get to say that I had 5 kids before I turned 30 in my 20s. 5 kids in my 20s. And then and then we were going to be done. Like, actually we were only going to have 4. But then we had 5, and then I thought we were done. And then I have to measure this. Let me see. Nope.
And I'm not even going to finish this because if I drink too much coffee, this isn't that bad. Sometimes my husband and I will sit on the couch and drink coffee at like 7, and then I'm not like my body isn't like hyper or like active from caffeine. My mind will not shut off. So this is going to be kind of like when I get home, I'll be like, you can have the rest of this because I just needed a little something. Where was that?
Like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm pregnant with Charlotte, and I had her when I was 36, I think. And so Jonathan and Charlotte are 5 years apart. And I was pregnant when Jonathan started kindergarten, and I cried my face off when he started kindergarten. He was always like my little sweet baby heart. And he's 15 now, and it goes by really fast. If you guys have little kids, I know it's hard to say because when you're living in it, it feels so hard sometimes, and like, ugh, when's it gonna be over? And I do feel like that a lot, like, oh my gosh, but it goes by so fast. And when I had Charlotte, Karina was, I think she was 15. My oldest was 15, and it was 15, teenager, like, this is so hard. It was real. I had a really hard time with Karina. Hi, Karina. And looking back, like, it wasn't even that, like, I'm like, that wasn't even that bad, because then I had our number 4, Preston, who's 17 now. Oh my gosh. He's doing really good now, but oh my gosh. Okay, getting off track. So I had Charlotte, and when I had Charlotte, I was like so focused on getting back in shape, and I'm not in shape now, but that was like my life, getting back in shape for like 5 years. And that was probably the best time of my life, physically and just happy and all the things between the ages of 37 and 41, 42, because 42, I had number 7, our baby, November. She's 2.5, she's gonna be 3. So when I was 42, I had November, and that was so hard. Really, really hard. I had a miscarriage before I had her, like almost a year before I had her, I had a miscarriage, and that was my first miscarriage ever. So I was 41, and you know, I'm just like, I couldn't believe I got pregnant, for one thing, and then I had that miscarriage, and I was like, oh yeah, well, I'm old now. And then I got pregnant again, and I'm like, oh my gosh, and then it stuck, and I had all my babies vaginally, and with her I had to have a C-section, emergency C-section, and it was hard on me. So, but she's worth it. We love her. I have to measure this again. I need to get to 14.5 centimeters. And I don't even know if you guys want to know all this stuff, because she's gonna be 10. And she's a super big help. And then my sons are teenagers, and my oldest 3 daughters are out of the house now, living their own lives. But I'm tired. super tired, but
we really started our garden and having more freedom to do things that I like and to have more time to do things that I like, and it feels good. And so with that comes, you know, me feeling good.
And so I know I need to get back to like exercising and stuff, but I'm like digging my heels in because I know how hard it is and how much work it is, and I don't know if I already told my husband, he goes to the gym on a regular basis and he, you know, is a big muscle guy and he looks hot, but I'm never going to, I shouldn't say never, because maybe I'll change my mind, because my dream has always been for my husband and I to be gym rats, and we were for a little half a second there before I got pregnant with November. We were doing the gym together. We would go at night after supper. That was exhausting. And but we were going to be gym rats together. Maybe we will again continue to go to the gym. When I was pregnant first, when I was 10 weeks pregnant with November, I fell down the stairs and I sprained both my ankles and was stuck in bed for 2 weeks. That was the worst pain I ever felt in my life. And I cried like a baby. It was the worst pain ever. Anyway, so that like derailed my whole like pregnancy, because I was planning on, you know, staying fit and going to the gym. And once I felt better and all the things, I did go for a little bit back to the gym, but I never was a gym person. I always worked out at home. Oh my gosh, I don't even know why I'm telling you my life story. And so I'm an all or nothing. Like, you either do it all the way, you start eating all the right things, and I mean, I used to drink egg whites. That's how serious it was. Like, I had this like amount of protein. I did the macros. I counted my macros. So it was like protein, carbs, and fat, and I like stuck to it. And if you do that kind of thing, you're gonna have really good results, and I did. And I looked great. So anyways, I just wanted to give you guys just a little bit of about me and, you know, my family, and I guess I'll kind of learn on what I want to share here, and all that fun stuff. So I'm just going to finish this little sew up because my husband's on his way home now, and the kids aren't home yet, so I suppose he'll need some of my attention. I have it, this is so tight. I have it so tight in there, and it's so hard to get in there.
Is it a weird color? Is it a different color? No, you want me to experiment with the color? With the CCT? I feel that is better. Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. Like all the way down to this. That white color was better, I think. Something like a quick little, and then send it to me, you know what I mean? That'll be fun. Yeah, so you like are showing the setup, you know what I mean? That'll be fun to share.
I wasn't recording, or what? I don't think I was recording.
Oh my God, Ronnie.
How do you...
You're supposed to have an odd number of lights going.
What?
You're supposed to have an odd number of lights.
Why?
But right now, there's so many other light sources that it
Oh.
doesn't matter.
He's...
So if it's pitch black in here, you should have 3. That's why usually on chandeliers there's always an odd number because it casts shadows. If you have an even, so you look at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
And this is the sole. Oh, you're being a nerd. Look at that. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I don't know, and I'll talk to you guys later.